So this is just a quick video on titrations, carrying out a titration. You will have done at least one of these in class already, but this is just a review of what you should know. So you will have used a burette. Burette has a maximum volume of 50 centimeters cubed. You can have either the acid or the alkali in the burette, which needs to be washed thoroughly before and after use. The washings need to be done with the substance that you're adding, not water, because this might have the potential problem of diluting your or changing your concentration of what you're using in the burette. You also need to make sure that you remove the funnel from the top of the burette. The reason for this is because if the acid or the alkali accumulates and drops into your burette after you've started titrating, it will affect the final titer value. The second thing, when filling the burette, you need to absolutely must make sure that you don't have any air gaps, air bubbles in the below the tap here, because if the liquid fills that air gap and displaces that air, you will get a completely different titer value than the one that you should have got. Along with the burette used to add acid and alkali to the conical flask, you need an indicator. Now the indicator is added to a solution. You must know the volume of the solution, and to be completely precise and accurate about the volume, we will use a pipette, usually a 25 centimeter cube pipette. Now if you used an acid in the burette, you have to use an alkali in the conical, and the opposite is true. If you used an alkali in the burette, you have to use an acid in the conical. What you then do is you, whilst constantly stirring the conical flask, you will add acid or alkali from the burette to the solution, and you will be constantly watching and observing what happens inside of here in terms of a colour change. The first titer is always a rough titer. You will add the substance until you see a permanent colour change. You will then record that volume of acid or alkali. You will then wash the conical. You will then add another amount of acid or alkali using a pipette, top up the burette, and then repeat the whole process again. Key points to highlight, again, what if I haven't done already: washing. When we use a pipette and a burette, we have to wash with the substances that we're going to be using. We have to make sure that the glassware is always clean as well. In terms of precision, you have to be incredibly precise when using a burette and a pipette and all of their equipment as well. And by precision we mean every time you use the pipette, the volume that you use, you always read off to the bottom of the meniscus. Okay, so you always read off to that point there. If you did it the first time and it was there, and the next time you did it, it was down here, you are not going to get the same result. So you have to make sure, and it just takes practice, you have to make sure that you use an exact precise amount, the same volumes every time. Concordancy, you keep repeating the titration until you get two results that are plus or minus 0.1 centimeter cubed of each other. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they are the first and the second, or the fourth and the fifth. They could be the second and the fifth, or the third and the seventh. Okay, but they just have to be within 0.1 of each other.